Hey everyone, I wanted to recognize our sponsor, Traver Connect. Two words ring true for all of us in the automotive service space: the phones. When we hear those words, we instantly all sigh. Because as much change as our industry has seen, we still get an overwhelming amount of calls. No need to sigh though. That's where a good BDC comes in handy, doesn't it? I know the team at Traver Connect personally, and these guys get it, and they can help you build your service BDC. Or you can use their team to catch the calls you miss from well-trained team of agents that they have. Or have them make outbound calls and set new appointments. Give Traver Connect a call today. As they say, revenue doesn't leave a message at the beep. Reach out to the team at Traver Connect at traverconnect.com. Dynatron Software is also an important sponsor for the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. As both technology and the auto industry continue to evolve, every dealership needs to ask themselves a very important question. Am I in the forefront or stuck in the past? Dynatron Software offers the latest in data analytics, business tools, and pricing optimization. Contact them for more info. Sales at dynatronsoftware.com. Guys, as always, help spread the message of the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. That helps us to spread the word. Also, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app. Get the new episodes as soon as they're released. And now, here's another episode for you. Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. Go to Apple Podcasts, find Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast, and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Helps us get this podcast out to the masses. Today, it's just me, solo episode. So stay tuned, and let's see what we can dig up. So before we get started, we need to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Dynatron Software and Traver Connect. Go check them out. They will help your dealership fixed operations departments operate more efficiently, effectively, and profitably. Dynatron Software and Traver Connect, two of the greatest companies out there in fixed ops today, from two guys who have been doing this for decades. Leaders, developers of amazing technology that have changed the way you have done business for decades and continue to do it. Dynatron Software and Traver Connect. Go check them out. Now let's get into this episode where we are going to talk just a little bit about career paths for technicians. Now we've talked about it with a bunch of guests, but let's explore this a little bit and think about the things that dynamic could do for your fixed operations department. So right now, as the model is in 90+% of the stores, is that a technician is hired. Either they have experience or they do not have experience, or they have a little bit of experience, and they're either placed into the express team. If they have experience, they're placed into the main shop. And if they have a little bit of experience, maybe they're put on express until they kind of learn the product, and then they'll get moved into the main shop. But rarely is there a discussion about how or when that transition happens. Or for the guy who has experience, what the expectations are in the shop. And so what you need to have is a career path set up. And a career path, if you're not familiar with it, basically is going to lay out you are being hired here at point A, and to get to point B, you need to do 1, 2, 3. You need to produce consistently over 40 hours a week. You need to get X amount of manufacturer training done. You need to maintain a above 99% attendance rate. You need to not be late on more than 4 days in a month. Whatever it is, whatever your metrics are that you are going to set up. And then if they meet those criteria, then it has to say what you will do. So you assume that criteria got met, and now your portion of that is to take and move that technician to point B. So basically it says you did 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we will do A, B, C, D. We will move you from Express to, let's say, Express Level 2. We will assign you a different set of trainings that need to get done. We will raise your pay by $1 an hour. We will assign you other duties, whatever it is, but it has to be an actual, specific, actionable plan on both ends, on the technician's end and on the dealership side. You both need to be able to look and have clear metrics to say, nope, you did not meet this criteria. Or from the technician side, for the technician to be able to look and say, I met those criteria and you did 1, 2, and 4. You did not do 3 for me. And so there's no gray areas. There's no cloudiness in it. There's no emotions in it. You have hired this person because you felt they fit the culture of your store. You felt that they would be a long-term employee, and you felt that they could absolutely help you grow your dealership into more than what it was. And so you need to make sure that you hold up your end of the bargain, that they're holding up their end of the bargain. So start working on setting up a career path. You can search Google and find some examples of career paths. If you need more examples of career paths, join the Fixed Ops Mastermind Leaders Program. We meet on Tuesday nights. A bunch of great guys there and gals there that have already set up these career paths and are more than happy to help you and walk you through what the process is to get that done. It's unbelievably powerful for you and your team to understand how to get from point A to point B to point C and beyond. And it really creates a culture where your team wants to work for the next level. Thank you for joining us on this solo episode of the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. Remember to leave us that 5-star rating and review. Also, fixedopsmastermind.com. We just talked about it. That is our weekly Fixed Ops Mastermind Leaders Group, Tuesday nights. Incredible information, subject matter experts every single week. And we are working on being forward-thinking leaders in the automotive industry, helping this industry move forward, not accepting the status quo, not accepting that that's the way we always did it. FixedOpsMastermind.com to join that membership. It's only $39.95 a month. That is the best value in fixed operations today. And you will find amazing people there that are going to help take your career to the next level. Until next time, bye. Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Mastermind, everybody. Today, our guest is Todd Smith, founder and CEO of 360 Converge. Todd, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks. Appreciate being here. It's always good to spend some time with you.
Absolutely. So for everybody who does not know who you are, kind of give us a little overview of what you do and where you came from, how you wound up in this automotive space of ours.
I've always been in the automotive space ever since I was a little kid. So it's all I've ever done is automotive. So it's been my life passion and, some days frustrations, but it's been everything. And I've done a ton of side on the retail side, grew up fixing cars, cleaning cars, then selling cars, running stores. I was a Chevy dealer for a while. I love the retail side, but I also love technology. So I feel like having the best of both worlds for me is being in the automotive industry, working on technology that fixes issues within our space. So.
Excellent. One of the things that had drawn me to you was the idea of actually getting some integration with our technologies out there. The automotive business is really good at just bolting on solutions to old tech, and it is all well-meaning. But from the people who are in the store doing it day to day, it becomes very cumbersome. People laugh when they see me open my computer in the morning because I have all my tabs set up and there's like 15 different tabs that open to be able to navigate through your day. So why don't we talk a little bit about some integrations?
Yeah, look, this is a hot topic, right? I think that, if my post got you excited, the real reality is, we live in a land where the large companies have basically put up walled gardens that makes it impossible to really have an effective integration with them. And how data moves in our industry it's bizarre because it's archaic. It's like 1995 using XML, ADF, email type protocol transfers, while everyone is, they're light years ahead using like an API or a webhook or something of any level of modern sophistication. To know that our industry is powered by technology that is, over 25 years old in the age of technology is quite frightening. And I think it's been a tact, more or less, a marketing thing that's allowed these large companies to stay large, to help shield them from smaller competitors that may be more nimble in different areas. And I think for our industry to kind of break out of that, a neutral platform or a neutral environment needs to take place where we enter a time where collaboration becomes more of the norm and a sharing of data for the dealer's benefit becomes the primary driver, and not, hey, this is our data. You have to go somewhere else to get a copy of it. And, I look at our industry, and as you said, you may wake up with 15 tabs. I used to wake up with, 15 tabs, and I had 19 things to log into. And not only that, then you have the issues in our industry where, let's say I don't know, you wanted to do a real heavy fixed op promotion. So you go, okay, what do I do? And I say, okay, well, you hire, let's say, AutoPoint. So AutoPoint goes, yeah, we're excited. And they come and they extract the data out of your DMS. Now they clean it up. They maybe append it. They'll go through that exercise. Then they'll start sending promotional stuff to your customers. Customers will respond to them, and they're monitoring all that. Well, that data really never finds its way back to you. And that's the problem. And I think we're in a world that the dealer should be in the core possession of his data. And all the interactions that their customers are doing, no matter through what product, should be reporting back to the dealership that how, let's say, what I consider how engaged your shoppers are across platforms. What medium or what channel do they like more? You may say, well, Dave, man, you're a texting guy, and Todd, you're an email guy. And I know these channels are how they are designed. And the problem is we don't even know that in our business. Our CRMs can't tell us that. Everything is fragmented. We use different services for phone tracking, for email comes out of the CRM, texting, maybe CRM, but probably somewhere else. Some of it even on our sales guys' phones. Chat is outsourced companies, digital retailing, outsourced companies, web analytics. It's just a monster. And that's where I think it will come down to building a data warehouse. And it's funny you mentioned the post. I just posted 11 reasons why any dealer group should build a data warehouse. And I think it should be the number one concern moving forward in the business.
Yeah, I mean, you hear a lot of people talking about that consumers want that Amazon experience, and in the automotive industry right now, quite literally, it's impossible, but because there is so much fragmentation, you can't. You're lucky if you can tell what color car the person has. Never mind be able to know, some sort of purchasing history and all that type of thing, because everything is so fragmented. Um,
Yeah.
so the what is it? And it might probably is multiple things. What do you think really has to happen to allow that to actually start? Is it something that the dealers are just going to have to bite the bullet on and say, okay, we're going to build this and we're going to own our data, and what happens to the DMS system that they're using now, the CRMs that they're using now? Is that, well, would they still be able to have that and have the CRMs that they have now, or would they have to
Yeah,
build something separate?
absolutely. Look, I think dealers need to have that deep conversation with themselves and say, what's the most important asset of my business? Is it my land? Is it my franchise? Is it the parts? It's none of those things. It's truly your customer base, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
your nucleus. This is the most valuable asset. And this is why the DMSs and the CRMs are like, well, we co-own that data with you. because and that's weird because you wouldn't see that in any other industry. It's ours. And
Right.
that's why all the legal fights are happening right now in Arizona and everywhere else around this topic, because we're in a weird industry of co-owned data. And so the first thing is, I think the average dealer waking up and going, oh my gosh, I need to control my data as best I can. And then I want to create the distribution from what I've created outside, right? I'll connect it through transparent services, APIs to the vendors I want to use. And I think that's a shift. And the CRMs are going to be here, the DMSs are going to be here through this evolution. I think the warehouse will give you, to me, the most accurate and holistic view of your customer. All the events associated with them, last time you touched them, what they bought. That's the type of data, when you can compile it in one spot, can have a profound impact on your business and reduction of marketing spend.
Yeah, it's I think back to when I was an advisor, which was in the early 90s now. Seems like dinosaur age back then. Um, but I mean, I kept a lot of data myself on my customers to know who they were, and to know who they were. And I would put notes into the CRM in places that they weren't intended for. To keep notes on customers, just so I could have something to make that connection with a customer, right? To be
Right.
able to do that. And it's what a lot of things are leading to now, so that you can know your customers. Now, obviously, back then I was keeping it to be able to make that personal connection, and now we want to make those connections for marketing reasons and things like that. But obviously, all of that needs to be personalized to those people, and you need
Yeah.
information to do that. And unfortunately, we can't get to a lot of that information, even though we are a very data rich industry. That's for sure. I mean, even a small dealer, it's amazing the amount of data that they have in their systems that they can't do a lot without permission from somebody else, or without being able to really dig in and understand what they have.
Yeah. I think for me, the real wake up call was still walking into dealers groups and they're using Excel and pivot tables to try to aggregate data across vendors that they could get a view of truly what's going on in their business. And at that moment, you have to say, well, that's not smart. And
Right.
meaning that's a hack that shouldn't be there. That should be kind of modernized with a API and into a central repository. And I think that you're right. Dealers, there's so much data and what I would almost call like exhaust data, meaning all kinds of breadcrumb pieces of data that surround the automotive universe that would be amazingly useful for dealerships, dealer groups, that if they could grab it, they could turn it around and, to me, monetize it. And it's no different than what, as you said, Amazon, Google, Facebook, they realize the importance of data, hence why they want to collect so much of it. And now that storage has become so relatively inexpensive, that's why they hoard all this data. They want every piece of touch point data they can get. And dealerships should take right out of that playbook saying, look, the big guys are doing it for a reason. They're not doing it for their health. They're doing it for bottom line profits of today, tomorrow, and in the future, right? And to me, that's the use case right now that a dealership group should be looking at, saying, hey, we need to get our arms around our data, and we need to be in a position that we're in control, and then pushing the data out to our vendors and then reporting back to us, keeping everything in sync.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you've been in automotive a long time. You know that this industry is notoriously slow at making change and adopting things. I think 2020 has been one of those years that has forced some of the change. This at the beginning of this, I said that the disruption that everybody talked to had been delivered to everybody's doors, and it was now time to either put up or shut up, if you will. There were people who talked about the disruption and that it was coming, and maybe they felt they were part of it and things, and now it's here, and so you have people who are taking advantage of that, not in a bad way, in a good way, taking advantage of the opportunity that is there as opposed to the obstacle.
Right.
And so what kind of things are you doing with 360 Converge to kind of bring this to fruition?
Yeah, I think for us, our first goal was really around communication. Texting was an area we wanted to focus on because of just all the sheer problems with personal device use in the dealership, non-TCPA compliance, no centralized TCPA compliance. So, let's say you do something out of the CRM and the customer opts out. There was no way to get that list to somewhere else to, let's say I want to do a text marketing thing. You would end up texting people that already opted out somewhere else, creating a potential liability. So I think for us, it was getting our hands around texting first for the dealer, helping them, because I think it's by far one of the best ways to contact a customer and get engagement. Engagement's through the roof. 90% open the text message within 3 minutes or less. Email, it's like 20% open, right? So, and engagement's definitely lower on that side. And let's be honest, nobody picks up the phone anymore. So that's just gone. So I looked at everything, and I really said texting would be a good entry point for us to start helping the dealer just get their arms around the data and the conversations. And from there, it's an evolving process. But I think for us, that's really where we're charged up right now, is helping dealers overcome the problem where half the conversations happen on their salesperson's cell phone, half from the CRM, and no consistency, even within inside that small universe of correspondence.
Yeah, that's actually, as you were just talking, you brought up something that I hadn't even considered. I mean, I see a lot of times salespeople using their personal phones to text customers, which for a long time has seemed like a very bad idea. But because, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And number one, they now have your customers' data when they walk to another dealership, but also compliance wise. But the fact that on my side, on the fixed ops side, we can send somebody a text through the platform that we're using and they opt out of it, and sales has no way to know that they opted out. So sales could be doing a text marketing campaign and sending it out. And what's the fine for sending a text to somebody who is it $1,500 or something?
$1,500 per instance. And listen, once a lawyer finds there's one, It's like I smell fire, I smell smoke, there's
Yeah.
deals. So I just posted, I think last week, Lithia just got sued in California at the Mercedes store on it's a recall text message, and I posted the actual court case, and that's going to be I would assume, a pretty big fine. So
Yeah. So, and you think about it, they're sending out a text campaign on a recall. They're trying to do the right thing
yeah,
and let people know that there's something wrong with their car that they can come in to get fixed.
yeah,
And obviously they're doing it to get the revenue, but they're still doing the right thing, trying to get somebody in to get something fixed for free on their car.
yep,
And now because of the way our industry is set up, they pay the price for that.
yeah,
That's interesting. That's not something that I had ever considered was the separation of sales service. And I don't know how often parts sends out that type of stuff, but you have three completely different systems being used there for reaching
right.
customers.
And someone could opt out on one, as you said, and
Mm-hmm.
you just open yourself up for like litigation just instantly.
Right.
And I think for dealers, you have to look at it, and that's bad customer experience too. And
Right.
and again, I'm an experienced guy. I think we shouldn't measure ourselves with our competing dealers. We should be measuring ourselves with the best experiences we're having as consumers, like I have or
Yep.
you have,
Right.
with whether it's Apple or you call and get something fixed instantly, or any of those things. That should be what we gauge our level of experience that we're trying to bring to automotive. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I think we just say, well, we're better than the guy down the street, and that guy's not that good. So I don't
Right.
think it elevates our game up maybe where it could be. And but yeah, I think centralized communications, that's ultimately, I think, one of the biggest challenges we'd like to solve.
Yeah, I love the thoughts are going in my head of that alone would certainly be a solving of a pain point that probably most dealerships don't even realize that they have at this point.
Yeah.
And I think you're right with the customer experience. We need to gauge ourselves on the best experiences that you're having in other industries, not just the automotive industry. And that makes a lot of sense. I always say that I don't really care about all these best practice things that come out because it just makes you the best of the worst. There's really not a whole lot of dealerships that are really giving an awesome customer experience. It unfortunately, a lot of them just aren't set up to provide that awesome experience that consumers look for nowadays.
Right. And that's process, right? Honestly, I don't think the tech supports process. I think
Yeah.
we have to reinvigorate and re-inspire our processes, right, at the dealership. And then I always look at it like, as you mentioned earlier, COVID hit, dealers freak out. Oh my gosh. And they rapidly changed, right? I mean, some shut and scuttered and cut half their staff, and they're rapidly going through these, to me, like evolutionary cycles. And interesting enough, I believe, as you kind of now look back a little bit at what happened, and I've talked to dealers, and I kind of get the post-mortem, like what has gone on, and you get that deeper understanding. I think the things that stand out to me most was, nobody's going to buy off-the-shelf digital retailing platform, plug it in, and it's going to work. You really have to look at your processes first, and then find the tech that best suits how your business wants to do business. And I've had hard conversations with dealers who can't even tell me how they want to do business. And meaning, what are we trying to achieve here? It can't just be sell a car. Everyone wants to do that. What is the true process and that experience we're trying to put the customer through, and how painless do you want to make it, or how much friction do you want to remove? Because all those will determine what tech you might want to lean towards. Are you going to be a still pass off, more traditional sales team, F&I team, delivery? Or are you going to try to do one person does it all, like Shump? I mean, what's your strategy, right? And what is that process you want to go through? And then I think you select a tech. Well, I think a lot of dealers just called up every digital retailer, tried to get a deal, took the best pitch, and then they try to lay it over their process, which isn't going to work very efficiently, right? That's why I think you need to know who you are first, and then find the tech that supports who you are and your behavior and like lifestyle the best.
Right, and I would agree with you that's where this industry has done things backwards. The tech is there to support the team, but it is not there to actually be the solution to it. The tech is never going to fix the problem that you have.
No, never.
if
In
if you
fact,
don't
it
have a
might make it worse, you know?
right, it usually does.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at tech. Have you seen The Social Dilemma, which is on Netflix? Have you watched that?
I watched. I think I've watched about half of it. I have not watched the whole thing, but it's
Okay.
crazy.
Well, it is crazy, right? But here's one of those things. Like, they have a really good idea on paper. Hey, let's create a thing called a like button on Facebook because, hey,
Right.
we get people to like it and it makes us all feel good and it's going to help build our business. Now,
Yes.
extrapolate that 10 years ahead to now. And what was it? Suicide rates of preteens, 10 to 13, escalated 150 some percent. Teen female suicide escalated huge percentage. I think it was 60, 70%. And why? Because now we live in this vanity world where I didn't get enough likes, people don't like me. And it's so amazing to see here is the fulcrum point of, hey, we're going to throw this idea into play. And now we're going to see what happens over humanity. And I don't think some of those things have been very good, right? And, how we've been able to process that. So, I mean, taking that and ripping it all the way back down in automotive, we're applying tech when we really also don't know, is this truly helping the consumer experience? And does a consumer like me more because of this? Or am I putting them through the tech experience online and then I land bash them and club them once they get in the door? Or, they set an appointment online to come in for service and they show up and they have to wait like everyone else because my appointment isn't communicating with my DMS and I'm just an advisor and I run up and go, hey man, how you doing? Oh yeah, you put an appointment in, no problem, we'll get you. And I just sweep it aside. But any real person goes, this freaking joker didn't even know I had an appointment.
Right. Or they've made that appointment and they come in and you don't have the part that they specifically made the appointment for. And because we have so many systems, a lot of times that will happen. And if you don't have a process to prevent that, it'll continue to happen. But if somebody comes and shows you a shiny object that tells the dealer you will never have another customer show up again without a part, they're likely to go and buy that. And even though a simple process of reviewing your appointments 3 days ahead, so appointments get reviewed on day 3, on day 2, on day 1 before the appointment to make sure that we have parts adequately stocked could solve that. We lay tech over the top of it and create a problem further down the line. And like you said, I mean, it's impossible to extrapolate it all out and realize the damage a like button would do. But
I mean, that's one of those that you go, wow, like here's 20 guys in a room thinking up something and not realizing the social impact that it was going to have.
Right. And it's funny because, I mean, I can remember, I don't know how long after the like button had come out and people would be joking, like, I wish they had a dislike button that I could click for this post. Yeah. And it was like, oh, we can't have that because that would create some negativity and yet the like button did exactly the same thing, maybe even worse.
For negativity, So.
Right. So very, very, very cool. You've got my head still thinking on this, on people sending out text messages and people replying stop, and it all comes back to that customer experience, right? And people, we talked about people wanting that Amazon experience, and the difference between Amazon is just that one funnel. They only have themselves to worry about, so all their tech funnels right to what they need it to, as opposed to us, where we've got the big end of the funnel, and then there's 5 or 6 different spouts at the other side of it coming out.
Right. So you would say like Amazon is all, but it's not. There's a lot of like systems inside there. But I'll tell you what Amazon says is, look, if you're going to do business with us, you have to connect through our systems, and you'll write code to connect with those systems. Otherwise, you don't do business with that company. And I think dealers have to realize that they're in control, and they need to be the powering solution for that, right? And I that's a little shift, but I think that if you really want to, get a hands around your customer data and the true value of it, that's going to be, look, Google, Amazon, Facebook, their value, yes, they do ads, but they generate ads based on all the data that they have about you. Right. So without that data collected, their ad systems would be terrible. Amazon's ability to predictively say, this is what should go in your cart and this is what you should buy, would not exist without the data first. And auto needs to enter that world where they're grabbing all the data. It's cheap enough. Dealerships make enough money. They can absolutely do this. And then aggregating that to me, singular customer view, that then I can use that. And the other side is, look at groups. The groups don't even know, like I go to a lot of groups, they don't even know someone just went down the road and shopped the same, like it's the same group. And the guy's been in 3 of your stores, and nobody really they sort of maybe know, but they know like a month from now after it was already like way too late, right? Like that body's been buried, man. And they're like, nah, I think there's been some foul play going on here, And that's where I think it's kind of interesting. And that's where I think bringing data into and making that the center of the dealership, because it's all there. You just someone's going to have to connect it up. Right.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I love the thoughts that are spinning around in my head of what it could be like working in stores, in a connected store, if you would, where those things happen, and you don't have all these bolt-on systems, making it look like a Frankenstein that you're working with every single day, trying to get the data that you need at the time you need it to help all to help your customer, which is what we're all trying to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's still all bolted, but the good thing is you own the heart now in the center, and all the ventricles and things, they're just pumping into the heart, data in, data out. And you restrict then vendors to say, okay, this vendor can get these attributes of the customer. This vendor gets this stuff. This vendor gets a lot more. This vendor gets a little. This vendor only gets the email address, and they're reporting it back. So I think there can be controls built in a data warehouse that would give the dealer the power to direct his business in uniformity for the best experience for the customer and creating the best value for the dealership and group.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a perfect place for us to end. That is what it's all about right there. Todd, it's been an awesome conversation. We thank you for joining us on the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. Tell people where they can find you and find out more information.
Easy. You can find me. LinkedIn's always really fast. Just Todd Smith. I think I mostly probably pull up if you're in auto. If not, you can reach me at Todd, TODD, at 360converge.com. Always around, take emails, and always available. Also on Twitter. I think I'm just Todd Lear Smith on Twitter. So.
All right. We'll get all that linked up into the show notes. Thanks again for joining us. It was a great conversation.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Excellent. Yes, excellent. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Another information-packed session of the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. is in the books. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your support. Remember to download Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast on your favorite podcast app and to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. We thank again our sponsors, Dynatron Software and Traver Connect. Make sure you guys visit them. They've got some incredible products to help your dealership excel. Until next time, thanks for joining us.